Hello dudes, dudettes, and everything in between. I'm Rayez, and welcome to Let's Talk Episode 6, a show where I cover topics and try to make them a bit more bearable despite my 99% failure rate. Someone remind me to never own a hospital. In this episode, we will be discussing a true crime case, something that I absolutely love but have yet to delve into on this channel. And now, I finally get to talk about it to someone other than my sister, who happens to be the only person in my life that shares the same love for true crime. And sometimes I wonder if people think we're what psychiatrists call insane. So, buckle up, because it's gonna be a wild one.
No time to worry about the past. Await the future to come at last.
So, a bit of background. Jennifer Palm was a girl from Canada who was of Vietnamese heritage. As a young girl, she was incredibly athletic, but not very academically gifted, averaging at about a C- when her parents wanted strictly A's. But she was a very talented figure skater and was going to compete in the Winter Olympics at one point. So even though she lacked in academics, she made up for it in sports. So things were good. That is until Jennifer sustained a serious knee injury at the age of 14 and received the news that she could no longer skate. That crushed her dreams, but even worse, she now had to meet her parents' unachievably high standards through education, which she lacked in. So, her solution? She decided to fake everything. Her end-of-the-year report card, a high school diploma, and even a college acceptance letter. That's right. We just got a letter, we just got a letter, we just got a letter. Oh wait, it was fucking forged. She pretended to be at school when really she was living with her boyfriend Daniel Wong. Remember that name, it'll be important later. I get the feeling Jennifer played pretend a little too much when she was little, and this was the result. Eventually her parents found out, and Jennifer claims it's because her mom saw the two together, but that may or may not be true. The girl's red and white blood cells are made of lies. Her neurotransmitters look like my earbuds when I take them out of my backpack. After they found out, she was basically placed on house arrest, mainly by her mom. You go, Bick. That's her name. But she could only leave to go to school, and that brings us to the night of the crime. 2010. Jennifer and Daniel had been planning an elaborate scheme to kill her parents and hired 3 hitmen to stage a home invasion. The plan was that the 3 men would pretend to break in, essentially playing what kids in elementary school call house. I think. Do kids still do that? Anyway, the men were also going to kill her parents, Vic and Han. While they were working on them, Jennifer was upstairs calling 911, and she sounded genuinely panicked, yelling in Vietnamese to her father.
Ma'am, where are you? What? Avenue Road. Yes. Can you spell the name for me, please? Dad? Ma'am. Hello?
In the end, Vic died while Han sustained an incredibly severe brain injury and was put into a medically induced coma once he arrived at the hospital. At first, Jennifer was called into the station to give a witness account as a victim, but as the interview went on, something seemed off with her. Uh-oh, someone's blowing your cover. Her demeanor, body language, and speech was not matching up with an individual that had just experienced a traumatic event. For instance, someone who was a true victim would most likely be hysterical, not able to form proper sentences.
Just start anew right now.
So what I've just explained to you is you're here voluntarily to help us.
And if you'll notice, when the detective opens the door, she flinches. But when he does it a second time later, she does flinch, like she's startled, but it was delayed.
Okay. Sorry. Have a seat.
Leading them to believe her behavior was an act. Also, occasionally, she realizes that she isn't making much sense and looks to the detective for approval. Oopsie, looks like she's in fucking trouble. I made that joke because she was also a piano player. They called her in the next day for another statement. And luckily for them, Jennifer was fucking clueless to the fact that she was now a potential suspect. I mean, what would you expect? She didn't graduate fucking high school. This time, she messed up a few things from the first interview and only corrected it when the detective
Take the other
did.
statement and whatever we said before.
No, I said it earlier.
Okay, then.
Uh-oh. This detective wanted to play his cards right, so he didn't directly confront her, but just gently corrected her. After they reviewed the footage afterwards, they called her in for one final interview, but this time, she was a definite fucking suspect, and they wanted to obtain information in a subtle way, so instead of acting like a detective, he acted like a therapist or a friend, asking her about her past, her hobbies, all the things that seem harmless to most, but were crucial pieces of evidence to them.
Eventually, you were discussing Daniel. What happened with that relationship?
I hid it from my parents at first. They didn't agree with me having a boyfriend.
Okay. And
Once they found out, they didn't like the fact that he was of mixed race.
Okay.
And they told me to stop seeing him.
Okay. And how did that make you feel?
That he was the person who just filled an empty void for me.
Here's the tea, everyone. After Jennifer began to trust him, she gave information about life at home, her parents' authoritarian parenting style, which drew up a clear alibi for
How
Jennifer.
did you end up back home, I guess?
They called up my friend, who I said I was staying with, in the middle of the night, and she was groggy and forgot what day it was, and so she's like, "Isn't she home?" And I wasn't home.
Okay. She messed up.
Eventually, she was tried and convicted, go figure, and she was sentenced to a minimum of 20 fucking years, at which she'd be eligible for parole. And it has been 12 years since then, but like Juice WRLD says, evil girls have the prettiest face. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more of my knee slap content, consider subscribing if you'd like. Anyway, I love you guys, stay safe, and never let anybody take your crown.
'Cause my insides are red.